Namaskara everyone, hope all of you are doing good, hale and healthy. I'm Tharun V. Bhatt, Assistant Professor of Political Science and Public Administration and also coach for various competitive exams. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about political history of India, which is an overview of the development of political system of India from ancient times to current times. So, this journey is going to be interesting and it is going to be enriching you with a lot of knowledge. It is going to help you immensely in writing an amazing answer in GS1 of UPSC mains as well as GS2 of UPSC mains. And GS1 consists of historical aspects of this country as well as the world, and GS2 consists of political aspects of this country as well as the world. So how do you interconnect these two topics and write an amazing answer? That's the discussion today. And I'm also going to prove in the end by showing you the previous year questions wherein UPSC has asked this kind of questions, wherein they are interconnecting history and politics together and trying to check if you have prepared well for this exam. So let's begin with it. And before that, I would like to talk about Universal Group of Institution, which is offering a unique concept. The concept is there is academic teaching happening on one side and competitive exam training happening side by side. So I strongly recommend that you visit our website and check out the courses that we offer. We offer courses starting from PU to undergraduation to post-graduation. So a lot of courses are getting added in, the latest one being Chartered Accountancy Training along with Commerce course, and this is going to be exciting because a lot of unique concepts like this are getting added on a day-to-day basis, and you got to check out our website. And if you're interested in any of the courses that we are offering, you are most welcome to enroll and enjoy success in your life. Now let us dive deep into political history of India. This is going to be a long flight, so fasten your seat belts, have patience till the end, watch this video till the end so that you reach your destination. Your destination is nothing but success in civil service exam, isn't it? So watch this video till the end, thank me later. This is an interconnection between GS1 mains and GS2 mains, and that's what we are going to do today. So let us begin our political history with Indus Valley Civilization, which is the ancient civilization of India. And early political structures here that we see is oligarchic structure, that is one thing, and proto-republican governance. So what is oligarchy, if you ask me? Oligarchy means a small group of people having control over a system or organization. And proto-republic means, the initial rule-based society. So the rules would be made by a small group of people, and the people living in that society have to adhere to the rules, and that is proto-republican governance. And this is evidenced by decentralized urban planning and lack of monumental royal iconography. That means there was no kingdom as such, there was no royal family as such which was running the system. It was run by a small group of powerful people, and that is about Indus Valley civilization's political structure, which you should etch in your mind as to how they established a political structure. All right. After Indus Valley civilization, let's move our attention to Maurya Empire, which is the ancient Indian empire, which was established by Chandragupta Maurya, and the time period of it is 322 to 185 BC, and expanded by Ashoka, of course. Ashoka was the greatest king and was marked by a powerful centralized government. That means the political system of Mauryan Empire was centralized government, and significant contributions to culture, trade and Buddhism happened during this period, which you need to understand. All right. So from Indus Valley, we have moved into Mauryan Empire. And what is the change? From oligarchy, proto-republican governance, we have moved into centralized government under the guidance of one of the greatest thinkers in the Indian history, and his name is Kautilya. And his book is called as Artha Shastra. Okay, Kautilya's Artha Shastra is our political book which gives guidance to the governance of today's times also. You know that? Moving on. Now, after the great Maurya Empire, let us focus our attention to the great Gupta Empire and the progression of ancient Indian civilization, that is the Gupta Empire, 240 to 550 CE. That is the time period of Gupta Empire, a golden age underpinned by decentralized feudalism, which is called as the Samanta system. In the UPSC, they ask what is Samanta system and which empire it is connected to. So the answer is here, Samanta system is connected to Gupta Empire, and the meaning of Samanta system means a decentralized feudalism. So what is feudalism, if you ask me? It is a kind of class society where there are landlords as well as peasants, and the landlords are dominating the peasant working class. We will talk more about it in some other class, but we will have to move on here. And in the Gupta Empire, the political systems, look at the political system that was established, where local elites were co-opted into imperial structure. That means the local elites started becoming imperial in nature and balancing autonomy with loyalty. That means they had autonomy as well as they were loyal towards their people. Alright, and this was the political structure that you see in the Gupta Empire, and the time period of it is 240 to 550 CE or AD also you can call. Alright, this fostered stability but sowed seeds of regional fragmentation. Alright, so regional fragmentation started taking place in India during the Gupta Empire. That's what you need to understand. Alright, moving on. Now we will have to talk about medieval India and politics, where there is synthesis of power and religious legitimacy. Now religious legitimacy comes into the picture. Till then there was no religious legitimacy as such. In the medieval period you see a kind of religious legitimacy taking shape, and let us know about it. See, the medieval period saw the rise of regional kingdoms and the establishment of the Delhi Sultanate. That means the invasion of Muslims into India started now. 1206 to 1526. This is the time period that you need to remember, which marked the beginning of Muslim rule in India. That means religious legitimacy started taking place. This era was characterized by significant cultural exchanges and the spread of Islam. Alright, the Mughal Empire, which began from 1526 to 1857, that was the end of Mughal Empire, later dominated the Indian subcontinent, known for its architectural achievements and administrative innovations. This is what happened during this time period. Not so important from politics perspective, but still you got to understand that, you know, how and when religious legitimacy started taking shape in the political structure of India. Right? The time period is 1206 and it went on till 1526. Right? Moving on. Now let us draw our attention to the Mughal Empire, whose contribution to Indian political system is definitely there, because they have been in this country for a long period. See, starting from 1526, their empire ended only in 1857 completely. Alright, so what did they contribute? First thing what they contributed is for architecture of India. You know, the great Taj Mahal belongs to the Mughal Empire and it is one of the 7 wonders of the world. And administrative innovations was the contribution of the Mughal Empire. For example, Mansabdari system. What is Mansabdari system? If you ask me, Mansabdari system is a rank-based system wherein individuals are asked to maintain certain troops as well as horses as well as equipments, and based on the number of troops that they have maintained as well as number of horses that they have maintained, their ranks will be elevated and their salaries also will be elevated. So this system is called as Mansabdari system, and this system is followed in India even today, isn't it? Rank based military system you can see today, and promotions and salary increase as per the rank that you hold is seen even today, isn't it? So Mansabdari system is the contribution of the Mughal Empire to Indian political structure. Can you say that? let's see what Akbar has contributed to Indian political system. He introduced something called as inclusive imperialism. What is this inclusive imperialism? This is a practice of imperialism, but he's trying to include the people of India by way of abolishing jizya tax. What is this jizya tax? Jizya tax is nothing but tax laid on non-Muslims living in an Islamic ruled state. All right. So this was abolished by Akbar, and also he had practiced marrying Rajput princesses and creating a syncretic Dinni Ilahi cult. What is this Dinni Ilahi? It is the religion founded by Akbar. Did you know that he had founded his own religion, but he did not force anyone to follow his religion as such. So all these practices of Akbar is called as inclusive imperialism. Remember that. And Mansabdari system, which we spoke about, is the contribution of the Mughal Empire. This takes us into the next phase of Indian political history, which is called as the colonial era. You can also call it as the advent of Europeans into India. And in this phase, you see extraction process, extraction of wealth from India by the colonial rulers, of course, and resistance from Indians, and the birth of nationalism. All these things are very important from UPSC exams perspective, and we will be discussing about it in detail in some other class. But for this class, we are just talking about how all these events have shaped the political structure of India. So the first development that you see is the establishment of British India. That means a proper political setup was given through this establishment of East India Company rule from 1757 to 1857, wherein the rule of Indian princes was over and British had taken over India almost completely, apart from few princely states still ruling their territories, but still most of the princely states had to come under the British rule. This was that phase, 1757 to 1857, wherein it is called as the East India Company's rule, and East India Company had brought in a lot of acts and a lot of rules and regulations, which we will study in detail. And we have already started with that process of giving you about various British acts, which we will talk about it separately. And in today's class, please know that East India Company's rule started from 1757 and it ended at 1857. Do you remember the revolt of 1857, which is called as the first war of Indian independence? That is the phase, right? After the revolt only, there was direct transfer of power to the British crown from the East India Company, and that is revolt of 1857 leading to crown rule 1858 to 1947. Okay, like I said, the arrival of European powers in the 15th century led to significant changes in India's trade and political dynamics, as countries like the Portuguese, the Dutch, the English and the French, remember the sequence, because in this sequence only they came to India to exploit India, and they sought to dominate lucrative spice and textile trade routes, right? They came to India for spice and trade. And East India Company rule, which started from 1757 and ended at 1857, the company's policy was divide and rule strategy and exploited princely state rivalries. If two princely states are fighting with one another, what they would do is they would interfere and grab both their territories. In the end, who are the losers? It's the Indian princes who were the losers, and the gainers were these colonial powers, and that's how they started grabbing Indian land and territories, right? And example for it is, you have the Carnatic Wars, you have the Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, all these things we'll be studying in detail later on. And policies such as doctrine of lapse, that is annexation policy, they got some territories through this process also, and land revenue system, that is systems like permanent settlement system, subsidiary alliance system. Through this process also they gained a lot of territories, and this entrenched economic exploitation and sparking peasant revolts. So peasants started revolting. For example, Santhal rebellion. We will be discussing about Santhal rebellion in the history part. The 1857 revolt led to crown rule, that is 1858 is the year when the British crown directly takes over the administration process in India, and the revolt of 1857, though fragmented, ended company's rule and forced the British to co-opt Indian princes via 1876 Queen's Proclamation. They had to make arrangements to make sure that princely states are also coexisting within the British Indian territories. Okay, that was about 1876 Queen's Proclamation. Remember that for your prelims. And political nationalism emerged through the Indian National Congress. So when was Indian National Congress established? It was established in the year 1885. Initially seeking reform within the British Raj, Indian National Congress surged ahead in the later phases with more people involved in the freedom movement. Example, Gandhi's Satyagraha, that is non-violent resistance and non-cooperation movement in 1920, redefined mass politics, while Bhagat Singh and Bose symbolized radical anti-colonialism. All these great figures are inspiration to all of us even today, isn't it? And this takes us to the nationalist movements, that is in the late 19th and early 20th centuries saw the rise of nationalist movement fueled by discontent with British policies, economic exploitation and cultural revival, leading to the formation of organizations advocating for Indian rights and self-rule. A lot of organizations started taking shape during the late 19th and early 20th centuries for the purpose of propagating nationalism in India, and this is our entry into the freedom movement of India. Now this takes us to the struggle for independence phase, where there is ideological contestations and mobilization. Alright, this phase is called as moderates versus extremists phase, which is the period between 1905 to 1920. The initial spark happened through the partition of Bengal by Lord Curzon, and early Indian National Congress leaders like Gokhale sought incremental reforms, while Tilak, Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Lala Lajpat Rai demanded Swaraj, that is self-rule, using Hindu symbolism to mobilize masses. And these are the images that you can see. Indian National Congress, founded in 1885, the Indian National Congress became the primary platform for Indian independence movement. See, why I'm talking about all this is, these are all the events that led to the political structure shaping in India. So without these historical events, there was no way that the current day's political structure would have been formed. So Indian National Congress plays a major role in shaping the political structure of India. So we will have to talk about Indian National Congress and its establishment in 1885, and they advocated for greater autonomy from the British rule and representation to Indians, eventually leading to mass mobilization. That means they were mobilizing the mass of this country for independence. So this is the picture that you can see, which was taken from the original first meeting of Indian National Congress in 1885. The next stage of Indian freedom movement is the Gandhian era, where Gandhi takes over the leadership of freedom movement, and it starts from 1920 and ends at 1947 with the partition of India. Gandhi's civil disobedience movement in 1930 and Quit India movement in 1942 leveraged moral authority and rural mobilization, pressurizing Britain post-World War II. And simultaneously, Jinnah's two-nation theory and Ambedkar's Dalit empowerment movement, all these people's contradiction highlighted fissures in the nationalist consensus, culminating in the 1947 partition of India. See, the political structure of India today and the partition of India and Pakistan all happened because of these historical events. That's the point that you need to remember here. Moving on. Quit India movement, let's quickly see what is this Quit India movement and what happened here. It was a mass protest demanding an end to the British rule in India. That means please leave our country is what we are saying. That means we are more aggressive in this phase and we are tired of British exploitation. And this happened in the year 1942, which led to widespread protests and unrest, marking a crucial movement in the Indian independence struggle and increasing pressure on the British government. So Quit India movement was a successful movement by Indians, and this only led to the partition of India. This leads to contemporary politics. Post-independence, the challenge was to establish a democratic setup, and centralization was to be adjusted with regional aspirations, and this arrangement was a great challenge for Indian politicians to begin with. And Nehruvian socialism was the idea of Nehru, and in his party, that is Congress, which was a dominant party. This was called as the one party dominant system of India, emphasizing secularism, non-alignment and state-led industrialization. So the political ideology leads to the political structure establishment, and this is the classic example. Even today we see India follows secularism, and India is non-aligned to any of the world powers, and state-led industrialization is still happening in India, but process of liberalization, privatization and globalization has already taken shape in the form of reforms in India. Okay, Constitution established parliamentary democracy but retained colonial era frameworks. For example, article number 356 for central intervention in the states. So this is how, if in case any of the states are not performing as per the provisions mentioned in the Indian Constitution, there is a provision called article number 356 to interfere in the state's governance. After Nehruvian socialism, we see the authoritarian regime of Indira Gandhi, and it started from 1966 and ended at 1984. And Indira's 1971 Garibi Hatao slogan, which is a populist slogan which became popular among Indians, and she was brought back into power after she lost the elections. And this led to 1975 emergency, which exposed democratic fragility of India. And her assassination in 1984 triggered Hindu-Sikh tensions, politicizing religious identities. See, all these issues in the current Indian political structure, the roots are here. So, what did she say? We want to fight and eliminate poverty in our country prevailing since time immemorial. So, this was during those days a very populist slogan, and it became very dear to all the people of this country, and they believed that the political structure of India will be reshaped in such a way that poverty will be eliminated in India. Major political parties, significant political parties include the Bharatiya Janata Party, of course, which emphasizes Hindu nationalism, and Indian National Congress, which focuses on secularism and social democracy, influencing national policies and elections. So, in our country, there is always a conflict of political ideologies between various political parties, and this leads to politics being hot topic in the news channels. And the rise of coalition politics happened in 1989, and it is still continuing, but in the year 2014, thumping majority was given to one single party, that is the BJP, of course. And economic liberalization happened in 1991 under Rao and Manmohan Singh. Rao, that is P.V. Narasimha Rao, who was the then Prime Minister, and Manmohan Singh, who was the then Finance Minister, and they both worked together and shifted power to states, enabling regional parties, that is parties like SP, BSP, DMK, to leverage identity politics, that is politics on caste, politics on language. All these things was the politics of India during this particular era. And The Mandal Commission in 1990 and Babri Masjid demolition in 1992 also reshaped electoral calculus around OBCs and Hindu nationalism. All these things are the major historical events which led to the reshaping of political structure in India. That's the point here. Let us talk a little bit about contemporary politics, which is majoritarianism and decentralized aspirations. This is how the conflict of ideologies between two major political parties in India is happening. And BJP's ascendancy to power happened in 2014 and it is still continuing. Modi's BJP combines Hindutva ideology with developmentalism, that is Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas, while centralizing power through schemes such as GST demonetization, and also they happen to have the charges of narrative control. The 2019 abrogation of Article 370 and CAA NRC protests reflect tensions between unitary nationalism and pluralism. And this is the current situation in India. And federalism under strain is another story. Regional parties such as TMC, AAP challenge BJP's hegemony, advocating state rights. Example, Delhi was a center over bureaucracy. Meanwhile, digital populism and welfare schemes such as Ujjwala PM Kisan redefine voter clientelism. That means voters are treated like clients. Moving on. Let's quickly make conclusions here. Power, pluralism and democratic experiment. That's the conclusion for India's political structure. India's political history reveals a constant tension between centralization and fragmentation, ideological pluralism and hegemony. This you have always seen in India's history. And from Ashoka's Dhamma to Modi's Hindutva, rulers have weaponized ideology to consolidate power. This is the reality. While social movements such as Dalit movements, feminist movements and environmental movements push for inclusive democracy. This is what is the political structure of today. Understanding this interplay is key to navigating India's future as demographic shifts, federalism and digital governance redefine politics. And this is about the historical phases in India's political structure. Now, let us get into the important phase of analyzing previous year UPSC questions on all the discussions that we have done. See, the questions I have already made note of. Look at this. Previous year UPSC mains question GS paper 1 and paper 2 linked to political history. The number one question was asked very recently in the year 2023. The Indian Constitution is a product of long historical process and borrows from multiple sources. Discuss. So how do you discuss? You have to discuss by watching my video once again. Alright. So please watch this video from start to end and you will be able to write an amazing answer for this 2023 UPSC question. And in the year 2021, the basic structure doctrine has saved Indian Constitution from being distorted by majoritarian governments. Again, the clues are given in this particular discussion. So please go back to the starting point of this video and watch it till the end and you will get a lot of interesting points to answer this question critically. And in the year 2019, they asked this question: the Constituent Assembly was a microcosm. Microcosm means a small replica of the bigger picture of India's diversity, yet it faced challenges in reconciling divergent interests. Elaborate. That means what were the conflicts of ideologies among the members of Constituent Assembly and how it was resolved in the end to come up with one single rule book, that is Indian Constitution. This is what you need to discuss and you will get a lot of points in this video. So please watch this video again and again so that all the points that are discussed in this video stays in your memory. That's it from me today. Thank you. And if you have any questions on today's episode, please feel free to comment your questions below and I will be more than happy to answer them for you.